Grab your depriming die. Put the ram all the way up. Screw it in. Till it hits. Back it off a half turn. Spin that nut all the way down, like so. Should have just a little bit of a gap. Some casings, especially if they're old Ivies or something like that, depending on where you live, they have a crimped primer that's in them. So you have to ream out the end so you can fit a new primer in, which you start off with this and then you end with that just to clean it up. Let me show you how that looks, how I make it quick. Get it going like that. Put your end in. I usually turn it, make sure all the stuff's in. See how it's turn it back on. And that one, just make sure everything's cleaned out of there. Now when you go to prime, it just slides in, no problem. It didn't work out as well as I wanted. Primed up, ready to go. Gotta make sure they're trimmed. Screw your quick trim die all the way down till it's seated right at the bottom, and then screw the nut down. Your length of casing and what it needs to be trimmed to. There you go. Length of casing for 300 blackout, 1.368. So you can't really tell which one's been trimmed and which one hasn't, but the one on the left is not trimmed. The one on the right is trimmed. You can kind of see that edge. It's just been kind of beveled. The die is set for the exact length that you should have this. Probably minus a little bit of what the total length is that they say in the book that you're allowed to have. But as long as you put the ram up all the way, cut it, it should be exactly where it needs to be once you're done. I haven't had a problem. All right, so I am doing load development. That's why I'm using the single stage press in the first place, or I would be using the progressive. It's a little messy right now. Anyways, this is the powder measure that I use. It does everything for you. Let me show you how that starts. Take the top off. Got the CFE black pour the powder in the measure. Turn it on. Now, I have figured out for the load development that I want to start off with 17.4 grains at a 2.1 overall length of bullet. So for 17.4 grains, right at the top here, I've got it set to grains. Set it to 17.4 grains. Hit auto repeat and just hit enter. It starts coming out. Start pressing now that I've got the powder ready. I've already set this thing up before. I'm not going to redo it. So now I take the casing, take a funnel, put it on top, pour that in, make sure it's in. That thing's going to auto restart for you. Put that in. Grab a bullet. I'm using a 168 grain bowtail hollow point. Put that in there. Push that up. And there you go. A 300 blackout bowtail hollow point in a 168 grain. So I just use one of these to check overall length. So that is at 215. I want it at 210. So I spin this down a little bit. Press it back up. At 214. Try that again. So there you go. 2.1. And the final check, we just got to check it in the casing checker. As long as it fits all the way through, you have zero issues. See how that's flat with the top? Not very good at holding this thing. Anyways, that's perfect. That's what you want to see. Won't have a problem in the barrel when it loads.